Chill filtration is a very contentious issue in the industry, simply because you are actually removing some of the flavor and quality in that particular whiskey. And you do it essentially by, and it does depend on the distillery, but it is a way of bringing the spirit, or the process of bringing the spirit down to freezing to zero, and then passing that very cold spirit through a series of filters to remove all the fatty acids and oils, aldehydes essentially. By doing that, when you then put those single malts into a blend, what you're essentially doing then is allowing that whiskey to be mixed with water and ice, and it doesn't go cloudy. If you left all those fatty acids and oils in there, it would go cloudy. And the industry, I mean, the public in general are not aware of that fact, so they might think there's something wrong with the whiskey. But essentially, as I said, what you're doing is you're removing a lot of the flavor profile of that whiskey. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It is contentious. There are some distilleries producing single malts that are chill filtering as well. Um, But we feel that the the more value in a whiskey is if it is non-chill filtered, because you're getting the maximum out of that whiskey. There's more flavor profile because those aldehydes, those fatty acids and oils, are still in there. Very, very different. With Tennessee whiskies, if you're looking at a distillery like Jack Daniel's, the filtration process is very different. They're actually not removing anything. If anything, they are purifying it, because charcoal always acts as a filter. But essentially, what happens is that the spirit passes through a 10-foot bed of maple wood charcoal. And to give you an idea of how that process works, one drop of Jack Daniel's, the spirit, will take about 2 weeks to pass through that filtration process. With a whiskey like Gentleman Jack, they do it twice. They do it before it goes into the barrel, and they do it before it's bottled 7 or 8 years later. So very different. They're not removing the fatty acids and oils. They're not reducing the temperature like they do with chill filtration. So it's just a different way, which is what they do in Tennessee, is to produce a different style of whiskey. Well, generally you see them as blended whiskies. So all your blended whiskies would be chill filtered. So all the components of it, the single malts and the grain whiskies, would have gone through that process of chill filtration. So whiskies like Johnny Walker Red and Famous Grouse and Black and White and yeah. If you see that, it is a very good thing. It's not something you must shy away from. If you see that in a whiskey, even if it stands long enough without ice and cold water, depending on the ambient temperature, it will change and it will go cloudy. And that is a very good thing, because then you know that whiskey has the maximum amount of character and flavor in that whiskey. Nothing is touched. I think again, it depends on the distillery and the filters that they use. Some distilleries are a lot more finicky about the amount that they take out, so there'll be a lot more filters in place. Other distilleries don't mind if some of that character and flavor profile passes through, but generally the idea is to remove as much of that as possible in for the blending industry. And if you take, for example, a whiskey like Ardbeg, on the bottle it will say not non-chill filtered. So they are very proud of the fact that they do not chill filter their spirit. The same with Arran, Isle of Arran, they'll have non-chill filtered. So you can actually see on the bottle of a single malt that they're actually stating the fact that they are non-chill filtering their whiskey.